everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. And as usual, we have a fun-packed program for you today because we'll be speaking first of all to Aimee Bateman, and she's going to be teaching us how to get your dream job and lots of other really valuable advice. And we'll also be taking a look at a great idea by the British Heart Foundation to raise funds. And also as a special treat, we have an interview with band Elborn a bit later on, and they'll be talking about how they got into the music industry and what their plans are for the future. But first of all, we have our news with Helen Ashard and Ian Pelham-Turner. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Good. Yeah, we're well.
Can't you see?
Oh gosh, that pink is just like blinding me.
I know.
Very jolly today.
There's going to be a warning on the screen tonight, so I'm saying, going to wear your sunglasses.
Are you trying to tell us something? You're feeling super confident today?
I'm trying to tell you it's summer.
Oh.
Summer has risen.
Today wasn't so great, was it?
No, but
I think we're
think positive. This is what the show's all about. Think positive, even in the bad weather. It's always
I don't
good.
mind the rain anyway.
Absolutely.
No. So again, onto a royal front. So we start off with there's
your
still
favourite topic.
Favourite topic, absolutely. Still lots of speculation around Prince Harry and Cressida. As you know, the boys as well have been away at Guy Pelly's wedding in Memphis, and they've been having a great time partying. Prince Harry's been up to tricks, but he's been a good boy as well. I think he's been.
Has he? I think he's getting there, isn't he?
He's sensible, and I think he's missing Cressida.
Oh,
I do.
Why'd you say that?
I do. I think so. That's
She's a romantic. That's why.
Well, I'm a romantic, but also just people have been saying bits and pieces, and I really do think they're going to get back together. I do. Yeah. I think it's a temporary thing. I think it's a break.
He's still
I
thinking that they're going to get married next year.
I still feel at the moment that an announcement will be made because in September it's too late. So I think the announcement's going to be about the end of July.
Really? Gosh, I so hope you two are right, you know. That'll be your reputation will just go through the roof.
A nosedive, but we've picked ourselves up before.
We have. But Prince Harry's, friends say that they're both in love, and there's lots of stories going around,
which is
lovely.
Good.
Absolutely. But also just another thing as well. There was, Prince William was seen flying coach class, which is just normal class flight, which is pretty good going when you think about it. Future King of England. Yeah. So just somebody tweeted a picture of him, and it's like, I think it's
the 20-minute flight.
Well, no, but still, because he's with security and everything, and the public is paying for it. So he's I think that's pretty good.
Good.
We were trying to work out, Helen and I, whether they've both been good whilst over them, whether Harry has been told, to sort of make sure that nothing comes out.
He absolutely will.
And there's this wonderful shot, isn't there, of the girls, in America, and they're all sort of screaming for Harry again. So,
it must be hard, mustn't it? As soon as they know he's free again, everyone just chasing him round. So what do you do? I mean, he's a young lad.
He has to be sensible.
He has to be.
He needs to be.
He is a prince after all.
Yeah, exactly. Even though he didn't choose to be, but
Moving on to Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, obviously been quite sad recently, along with family, because of her brother, Mark Shand, who unfortunately passed away, which is quite sad. But I mean, he was such an inspirational guy, and he used to raise money for Asian elephants, and just did loads of fundraising and everything. So it's to remember him in a positive light, because he was such a good guy. I think everyone was quite shocked. But really sad to see Camilla photograph. I mean, obviously we're in the industry too, taking pictures all the time, but so sad that a picture of her crying coming out of the church, I think was very unfortunate. I don't think they should have done that, because that's a personal time. To capture it, seeing certain people, but that private moment, obviously it was blown up on the press.
It is private, but on the other hand, maybe people would say they're sort of seeing the softer side to her.
Absolutely.
And I think maybe.
And it's a strange quirk of fate. I'm reading the life story of Murray Helvin at the moment. And apparently Murray...
You're always reading somebody's life story, aren't you?
He loves it.
And she used to be his girlfriend, Mark Shand's girlfriend. And as you know, Mark Shand died because he tripped over something and fell off a step at the hotel in America, which is how he was killed. And she recalls this tale in the book, which was written in 2006, where one night they were getting out of a car, and he tripped straight over the red carpet and landed doing exactly the same thing again. So I get the feeling he was accident prone.
I think so.
He was.
Oh gosh.
But he was such a good conservationist, and he was an author.
I'm sure someone's going to carry on that work.
They will. It's really great.
Yeah.
Now this is Helena's one next. Go on.
What is that? Oh no, but just moving on, because one of the things that it follows on smoothly, we didn't quite get to the end of it. One of his things that reflected in his work was obviously in his passions, and music and everything was played outside the church. And the Elephant's March from the Jungle Book was played, which was lovely, which I thought was really nice, which follows on lovely to the remake.
You should have brought an elephant in, don't you think?
Something.
Maybe a little baby one.
They had little things made for it, sculptures, I think, were outside and hanging everywhere.
I don't think it would be nice to have an elephant running.
It would be. I love elephants. I do love elephants.
Yeah, me too.
Beautiful. But yeah, talking of the Jungle Book, there's
she's not going to let you speak tonight, is she? It's all right,
I've learned to keep my place in this world.
Go on. You know he speaks all the time. Remake of the classic Jungle Book, 1967. There's a new CGI one that's been made at the moment, and I love the Jungle Book, so to me I'm really excited. But they've got Lupita Nyong'o, so the Oscar winners are going to be in it, cast as Mother Wolf, and Idris Elba. Yeah, that's fine. Who was also in 12 Years a Slave. They were both winners, weren't they? He's going to be Shere Khan. But I can't wait for that to come out. That comes out next year because it's CGI. So they'll sort of have the features, won't they? I think of them and talk. So that's really lovely.
That's nice. And that is so close to Helena's heart. One of the very first Christmas when we were exchanging Christmas gifts when we first met. And I said, you know, I was just trying to find out the types of things that Helena would like. And top of the list, Jungle Book.
It is. I do. I love the cartoons. I do. And some people just don't like them at all. Do you like them?
I haven't really watched them really much.
You?
No.
Some people don't like fantasy and things
no,
like that.
I don't mind. No, they're okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Sorry.
The Jungle Book.
Don't you like me anymore?
Of course I do. I love you.
She's not my friend anymore.
We've only got half an hour.
Right. Is it your piece again?
I don't know. It seems like right, George Clooney, gorgeous George Clooney,
yes.
No longer a bachelor, as we all know, but he is going to be marrying the wonderful lawyer. Yeah. It's actually somebody I work with as well who was really, really sad. Not me at all, but and she really believed she was going to marry him, and she was devastated for the last few days because her whole life was just.
And what's even worse, she lost about 12 stones as well. So I mean,
she lost
12 stones, not on the news.
Now, this is the colleague I'm talking to you about who thought she was going to marry George Clooney, but
sorry.
That's really sad. But anyway, Amal.
She's watching.
Gone now. I think this is for good as well. I think he's really found love. So it's Amal Al-Madin or something. She's 36, beautiful lawyer, very powerful. So they're a very, very good match.
I do hope so, because you know celebrity marriages don't really last very long.
They don't. But he says he's not very good in love. He's 53 now, so I think he's found someone special.
Okay,
let's
hope so.
That's going to work, isn't it?
Sorry, I'm not being pessimistic.
No.
Anyway.
So moving on to something fun, Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
Yep.
Justin, and the amount of tips people give. So apparently William and Harry last week, they left something like about a $500 tip at the place where they work, as part of the reception. And people like Justin Timberlake, they left £2,500. So it just shows you how much cash in hand.
Wow.
But you see, the crazy part about it, if you think about it, is normally the royals don't carry cash. So who did they get the money from in the first place? I think all these security guards, all the detectives had to sort of fork out the only dollars that they had.
Could give something.
And it came to 500, so I should imagine,
But 2,500 is quite a good tip, even from someone with money, isn't it? The waitresses were so excited.
Share it out.
Yeah, I think so. It's for the waitresses, and he was doing a tour in Cologne at the time, and they were just so excited. I mean, it's a huge amount of money.
But another one that came into the news this week is poor Bob Hoskins has died, unfortunately. And I worked with Bob Hoskins quite a bit. So I worked on Long Good Friday, which was one of his sort of first ever sort of major movies at the time, and it was one of the first ones I did a lot of work on it. It goes back, I think it was about 30 years ago, you know, and when I was a young boy, you know. But I used to bump into him quite a bit afterwards. And the thing that he always used to love to talk about was photography. And he was a great photographer. And all his life, wherever he went, he would carry his Leica cameras, his 35mm film cameras with him.
I haven't read that about him before.
And he would do landscapes. And he was just a tremendous landscape photographer. And he would talk for hours on the subject. And I got pinned up against the wall one night as he was sort of, you know, getting all the sort of the latest on, you know, how to sort of use these cameras.
Just trying to pick your brains, isn't it?
Trying to pick my brains on sort of how these things work. So yeah, so it's
nice guy, wasn't he? I loved him in Mona Lisa.
Yeah, it's really
good.
And we're moving on to Angelina Jolie.
We've got 1 minute left. If you can fit it in.
Angelina Jolie, fantastic. She's now not giving up acting, and she's
she's not. She's changed her mind.
No, well, she's going to be directing. She wants to spend more time with her kids.
That's nice. Good for her.
I think that the real story is about to come out about it. I think she's going into politics.
I don't. Have we got a little bit more time? And
I love it when they disagree.
Congratulations to Federer on his twins again.
Okay.
He's just had new little boy twins.
I was waiting for an argument between the two of you just now, and you went on to something else.
We never argue.
Surely it can't be coming up to finishing
really? I have witnessed what
we never argue. I just listen.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank
again,
you.
we'll see you again next time for some more updates. Brilliant talking to you as usual. But do stay tuned, viewers, because after the break we'll be speaking to Aimee Bateman on some priceless tips on how to get your dream job. So do stay tuned.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. To introduce my first guest, let's take a look at this video.
Hi guys, it's Amy Bateman here. Welcome to Career Cake TV. So the reason I think this is probably the most important question is because it's usually the first question that tell me about yourself.
Now, even if you're using your language, just change your language a little bit. It might even be something as simple as, I would like the opportunity to discuss this application. Use the word love instead of like.
If you're not prepared for the question, they might think you're not prepared for the job. So own it and just be in control, be confident, and just give them their answer. So talk about you as a person, talk about what kind of employee you're going to be, talk about why you want to do what you do, talk about your motivators, talk about your values, talk about the value that you can add to their business.
So follow those 5 steps, make them know how much you want it, make them feel special, and make sure that you remember to cut and paste it into the body of the email so they're almost forced to read it rather than just an attachment.
I just love your confidence, Amy.
My goodness.
Hello.
That's amazing. Yeah. Good. You all right?
I'm good, thanks. So you're a career mentor and MD of Career Cake.
Yeah, well, MD of myself. There's only me. It's just it's a careers website, but yeah, it's just me. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So how did you sort of come about this? And actually, no, tell us a bit about your background first of all.
Okay, so I graduated with a marketing degree, and I went straight into the world of recruitment. So selling people to companies and companies to people.
Is that what you always wanted to do? Would you say?
I was when I was temping while I was at university, and I absolutely loved the lady that looked after all of my part-time jobs at the agency. We used to go to her offices and have a beer on a Friday, and I thought I want to be like her. She always had nice handbags, so I thought, you know, that's enough. So I went into recruitment not really knowing what it was going to be, and just loved it. Loved being able to help people get jobs. But obviously, as a recruiter, I'm there to help companies find employees. Yeah. I'm not there to work for the job seeker. I'm not there to help you find a job. And about 4 years ago, my why changed. I decided that, you know, that the recession started and huge amount of talented people in the marketplace through no fault of their own, and I couldn't help them because they didn't meet my client brief. So I decided that I didn't want to...
You switched sides.
I was working for the wrong team. Yeah, absolutely. So I just bought a camera on eBay for, my goodness, I think it was about 25 quid, second-hand camera, and just started making, you know, those YouTube videos like you saw from my kitchen, the first ones were a little bit dodgy. I wasn't sure anybody was going to watch them, and it kind of just developed from there, really.
But how did it expand? How did people get to know about
People
you?
just started sharing it. I think if people believed that I actually gave, I actually cared about them.
Yeah.
And I was giving good advice because I'd been a leading recruiter for 10 years, so I knew what companies were looking for. And I thought maybe my mum might watch them, or somebody somewhere, maybe some girl somewhere in Chicago or London, or somebody might watch a video and ace that interview and get their dream job. And then before I knew it,
that's just really nice that you did care enough to do that, because most people have all that knowledge and they just keep it
out there
themselves.
as well. I mean, it's scary. I'd put a YouTube video out there and I'd think, well, do I blink too much, or somebody's going to make fun of my Welsh accent, or all this kind of stuff, which you do get some weirdos on YouTube and people do say that kind of stuff. But then equally you get all of these, I get these beautiful emails from people all over the world that tell me that, I got one from Kenya the other day, and it's like, wow, I'm helping somebody.
Wow.
I've never been to Kenya.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I cry sometimes at the vulnerability of these people sharing their stories with me. And if you can help, you should.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes such a difference when people know that you're genuinely interested in them and you're really trying to help, rather than it's just a job.
Yeah, because I'm not selling anything. You can watch it, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But if it helps you, then, like I said, if you can help, you should.
Yeah. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty now. So for someone that is actually wanting to find a job, they're finding it a bit hard, what would be your top tips on how to get the job that they've always wanted to?
The first thing I would say is that a lot of people, they don't really work out their why, so they might know what they want to do, so they might want to be a lawyer, or they might want to work in customer service, but they haven't actually sat down and thought about why they want to do it.
Yeah.
And companies don't actually really care so much about what you do. There's lots of people out there in the market at the moment that can do the same stuff that you do. They want to know why you want to do it, why you get out of bed in the morning, why you chose to go to that business over somebody else's. So yeah, you have to explore your why. The second thing you have to do is you have to create a plan. And then it might sound boring, but you would never set up a business without a business plan. Nobody would do that. That's madness. That's crazy stuff. But people go out to the job market all the time without a plan, without a strategy.
It's a bit hit and miss, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Who do you want to work for? Who do you want to work for? Name 10 businesses that you want to work for, and work out why you want to work for them, because it's like asking somebody out on a date, isn't it? You just ask 200 people out on a date, probably nobody's going to say yes. Make people feel special. Right. Work out why you want to work for them.
And companies pick up on that, don't they?
We know when we get a cover letter from somebody that's changed the name of the company in the cover letter, or a couple of buzzwords. We know that.
And people wonder why they send out 200 CVs and they keep getting rejected.
I get scared when somebody says that they've sent out. If you send more than 5, then how can you make it personal? Like I said, people will only be genuinely interested in you if you are genuinely interested in them. That's the way it works.
That's an excellent point.
That's the way it works. And that's in life. We meet somebody at a party and they just talk about themselves. We get away from them as quickly as possible, don't we?
Yeah, that's true.
We want to be with people that are genuinely interested in us. So you have to make that employer feel special. And I don't mean regurgitate something from their website, because then you just show them that you can read a website. Anyone can do that. It's find an emotive reason why. Maybe you've had a wonderful experience as a customer. Maybe you know somebody that's worked there. Recently I was coaching a guy in Australia who actually was taking a flight with Virgin, and his father had just passed away. And it was literally just a member of the crew that made him feel special and looked after him during a very emotional flight. And he used that in his interview to say, they said, why do you want to be part of Virgin? And people could talk about Richard Branson and, the sexy brand, but he went, I want to be part of your family. I want to work. That
must be so refreshing as an interviewer to hear something like that as well, because I can imagine how boring it must be for people to sit there and interview all these people and it's just hearing the same old thing.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, you're going to have to bring an emotive, story every time, but
something different.
It's got to be personal. It's got to be real. It's one human being buying into another human being. You've got to keep it real.
Wow. Okay, what else? What other tips have you got for us?
And then it's all about social media. It's about building relationships. So you can do that online, because that's super easy. I mean, 3 years ago, you might have struggled to find the email address of the influencer within your dream business, but now you can go on Twitter and find out what he's having for tea, or when he's walking his dog, all that kind of stuff. But I'm a firm believer that, when I graduated a long time ago, everyone got jobs. Everyone, it was easy. It was easy. I mean, goodness, I got a job and I didn't know what I was doing. Everyone gets jobs. But in this market, you have to up your game. And I think that comes from building relationships. And we can now. We can build these beautiful, wonderful relationships professional relationships through Twitter, through Instagram. 3 times this year I've been asked to check somebody's Instagram as part of a recruitment process.
Really?
Yeah. LinkedIn. You build those relationships with the, with the people in your business plan, with the influencers and the decision makers in your dream companies. You build those relationships, the jobs will come.
About the things, for example, that you do post on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, obviously, you know, you do have to be careful knowing that maybe potential employers are looking, but at the same time, you also want to be yourself. So where do you sort of like draw the line?
Well, I was working with a guy called Marius recently. He's an accountant, and he absolutely doesn't want to be on social media. He's petrified of social media because of all of these horror stories. And there are loads of horror stories. I could talk for hours about the horror stories. But he applied for a job at an accountancy practice, and I actually know, I'm the AAT careers coach, which is the professional body of accountants. And he didn't get an interview. And I said, well, actually, sweetheart, I know the lady there, so I'll just speak to the HR team. And they said, oh, well, we Googled him and his Twitter came up. And I said, he hasn't got a Twitter account. And they went, well, we weren't sure. Somebody's Twitter came up with his name, and he had a really unusual name.
Yeah.
And this guy likes knives.
Oh.
Yeah. So rather than them phone him and say, is that your Twitter account? They haven't got time. They've got 500 other CVs in their inbox. They didn't even assume. It was just a question mark that they didn't have time to answer. So sometimes not having a presence online can be a bad thing because somebody else will own your name or your identity. But also, I believe in 5 years' time that people won't even use CVs. I think it'll be, what's your domain? What's your blog? I'll Google you. I haven't had a business card in 3 years. Google me. And I think that that's the way it's going.
That's a really
it's a huge revolution.
Yeah.
But if you have an opportunity to build a relationship with somebody, why wouldn't you do it?
It's true.
Or showcase your skills and your passion. Because if I've got one interview slot on Friday, I'm going to give it to the person that I feel like I know the most, the person that I already want in my gang.
Definitely. Brilliant tips there. But you're going to stay with us, Amy.
Yeah,
I'm going to go to a quick break because I'd like to also talk to you about people that have lost their self-confidence for some reason, or don't have much self-belief at all, and how we can help those kind of people as well. So, and also we're going to speak to someone that you've helped as well by Skype. Okay, so do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, now before we get back to Amy with some more career tips, let's take a look at this video from Jane for fitness.
Hi, I'm Jane. Welcome to your fitness top tips. Today I've got a little sequence for you which is designed to help you if you're feeling a little bit stressed out and you want to stretch and relax. So it combines some deep stretches with some power moves, and it really helps you to calm the body and the mind down. It's really nice. So all you need to do to begin is float your arms up in the air and very gently lean back so you can see the ceiling right above your face. You take a deep breath and you exhale, hands by your side, and roll down to the floor. So you get a nice stretch through your back here. Reach down to the floor and go as far as you comfortably can, getting some stretch in the backs of the legs. And then come onto all fours and let's go into a gentle cat stretch. So all you need to do is round out the back and lift. So you can do a couple more of those here. This really takes any pressure out of your back. Okay, we're going to hold it in a flat neutral spine and tuck your toes under. Hover your knees off the floor, really engage the tummy. And then with your next out breath, lift the bum and press the heels back into the floor. Now you're going to get a lovely stretch all the way up the backs of the legs. Use your shoulders and draw them down the back. And then we're just going to walk forward into a plank position where we're holding our body weight with our shoulders and our core, and then walk your hands back to your feet. Relax here for a minute, take a deep breath, roll yourself up to stand, and you can go again from the top. And I recommend that you do several of those, that series, and by the end of it, I promise you, you'll feel relaxed and calm. So enjoy, and I'll see you next time.
Welcome back. Now we're going to speak to someone that Amy's actually helping, and it's student Elizabeth Bennett. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Hello, sweetie. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So we've just been speaking to Amy here. She's been giving us some really great advice on how to get a job, a dream job. Now, what is it in particular that's helped you the most since working with Amy?
Well, probably she's given me so much confidence. She's really helped me, you know, understand my skills and know what my ability is. And she's given me the confidence to apply that to a job situation. You know, she's helped me tailor my CV to the area I want to go into. So yeah, and just her knowledge in the area has been really, really valuable.
Okay. What is it you're doing at the moment?
Pardon?
What is it you're doing at the moment?
Oh, I'm currently a final year student, social science student at Cardiff University. So I finish next week, so then I'm going to be on the job hunting.
Okay.
So yeah.
Would you say you were not confident for quite a bit of your life, like your teens, and then would you say that was an issue with you?
Yeah, well, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to go into.
Right.
And I think that's probably a problem for most people. And then when I decided I wanted to go into, you know, HR and recruitment side of things, I think it just really gives you confidence in your skills that you have. Because, you know, I've had loads of jobs before in the past, but I didn't actually see how they were applicable to a specific role within the job, or like the skills I've acquired from that job. And so she really helped me say, actually, you know, that job, you know, that's a good example of this, or that job's a really good example of this. So yeah, it made me realise that really.
What do you like so much about HR then?
I'm a really chatty people person, and I quite like to help people and have that kind of sociable side of a job every day. I couldn't see myself just doing a one-on-one thing. So yeah, it'd be nice to work with people really.
Thanks so much for talking to us, Elizabeth, and all the best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, see you.
Stay to see you.
Okay, Amy, so she seems happy and bubbly.
Gosh, she is adorable.
She's just so cute.
I want to squeeze her. Yeah, but well, she's way better than I was at that age, that's for sure. She will, yeah, she's phenomenal. She's phenomenal.
Wow, you must be so proud of her.
Yeah. I mean, I've been working with her for about a year now, and she's got some big interviews coming up. But like I said, you know, she's amazing. She's amazing.
Now, she did mention about sort of confidence, and you helped her with her confidence.
Yeah.
What was she like when she first came to you then? Was she quite timid maybe?
Well, actually, it was interesting. I spoke to about 100 students at Cardiff University, and I spotted her. Sometimes when you talk to big group, I mean, I could speak to sometimes 1,000 students a week, sometimes, you know, up to 1,000 a week. And you always spot people. You spot the sponges. I call them sponges. The people that want to be the best they can be.
Yeah.
I only work with people like that. I think you have to, I only work with people that want to thrive. And when I say thrive, I don't mean be the CEO of your own company. You can thrive in, you know, in minimum wage if you're happy. Thriving for me is not going home every night and whinging about your job and then the next day not doing anything about it. I love working with people that actually want to make that change, because I can coach people and tell them that they're great, you know, all day long, but unless somebody actually makes those changes for themselves, because I'll annoy you otherwise, you'll want to throw me in front of a bus. I only work with people, seriously, passionate people, and Elizabeth is one of them. Yeah.
But how then would you go about helping someone that doesn't have much self-belief? Maybe they've got ambition, but they don't really think, maybe it's not for me, maybe I can't do that.
3 things really. The first thing I would do is that we would need to look at, like I said earlier, what it is that they want to do and why they want to do it. So a lot of storytelling. What does it look like when you're doing this? Talk to me about how it would feel if you were doing that. So they're almost sort of on their journey and they're starting to visualise it already, so that they want it more. Because if they don't really want it, it doesn't matter. There's nothing I can do. So I have to get them to really want it first and to feel what it would be like to have it. And then obviously, what would it look like if you didn't have it? What would you look like if, you know, in 30 years' time you hadn't done that? So there's a lot of visualization, but then it comes down to real practical stuff, right? What have you done? Do you know what? A company doesn't really care what you've done. Nobody actually, well, no, your CV isn't about you. Nobody cares. It's about how you add value to them. Right. Ultimately, are you going to help them make money? And are they going to want to see your face every day? You're going to help me make money, and you're going to get on with the team I've already got. So we look at ways that they can do that, whether that's indirectly through a sales role or, you know, not directly. So all roles are all about sort of making your business more profitable. And then obviously it's about surrounding yourself with lighters. I call them lighters. So people that make you feel like you can take over the world. Because job searching is a really, really lonely time. You might be out of work, at home, by yourself, and that's not good for anyone. Even the most confident people in the world can be flawed by that. So if you can surround yourself with lighters, so people that, you know,
and that will just naturally build your confidence, would you say?
Yeah, every day you need to surround yourself with. And I also encourage people to create a brag file. And a brag file, yeah, I think everybody I have one. So a brag file is something that you collect. It could be on your phone, it could be on your computer, it could be in paper format. Every time somebody does something for you that makes you feel special, so maybe it's a tweet from your best friend, or maybe it's an email from a colleague where you've gone above and beyond, or maybe it's a wonderful testimonial that somebody's written for you. I do it with my tweets and my Facebook updates, because we all have days where we think, gosh, am I really adding value? Am I, you know, we all have low days. So collect those, and those days when you're having a low day, you go straight to the brag file. But not only is it for your eyes, I mean, it can be for your eyes only, but you can take these to interviews with you.
That's a really good idea. But some people, especially in this country, have kind of a problem bragging.
Totally.
Or talking, why, I don't know why that is. But.
And I coach people in America, with Australia, and people always go, it's people it's everyone.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it not just the UK
People always go, it's the people in Britain have a trouble. And I always thought that as well until I started coaching with people. But that's exactly why testimonials are wonderful. Because you could tell me that you're fabulous, but you're going to tell me that because you want the job. So why should I believe you as a customer, as an employer?
Yeah.
Get someone else to tell me how good you are.
Brilliant advice. Amy, we've run out of time.
Okay.
But thank you so much.
Love chatting to you.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love her energy. Look, she's going to go flying somewhere. Okay, then, so do stay tuned, because after the break, I'm going to be speaking to a very great band called Elborn after this. So do join me.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Now, before I meet my next guest, let's take a look at this video, an interview that I did with the British Heart Foundation. So, Polly, tell me a bit about the British Heart Foundation, because it is the largest charity in the UK. Is it for heart research?
It is. It's the only real big charity in the UK that covers heart research. We do prevention work as well, but our big focus is pioneering research. And a lot of people don't realise that coronary heart disease is Britain's biggest killer. So we're here today and all the time just to raise as much money as we want. So anyone that's brought a lock and put a lock on here can know that their money is going towards a great cause and the pioneering work that we do.
And is it something that you'll be doing on a yearly basis?
Yeah, we're hoping to tour the installations through festivals during the summer, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, Covent Garden will have us back again, because this seems to be one of the most popular places for it, and people just love writing messages. It's really good fun to work on, and really good to see some of the heartfelt messages that people write, and to know that all the money's going to a great cause.
What does it mean to the British Heart Foundation to be able to do something like this?
Well, I think it's great for the British Heart Foundation, because not only do we get the donations that people give when they kindly write a message, but I think it also helps associate us with love and the month of February. So we're hoping to repeat this every February and make as much money as possible.
I think it's a fantastic initiative. Thank you so much, Polly, for speaking to us.
Cheers, thank you very much.
And I'd love to write my own heart now. Is that okay?
You can. I have one I brought earlier for you, because I thought you might want to. So we've got a special one for you and your viewers for you to write.
I'd love to write a little message for my viewers, because I do love you very much.
There you go.
Thank you so much. That's a great idea, isn't it? Okay, so before I speak to Si and Hills of Elborn, let's just take a look at them in action.
just the same girl. It's true.
Okay, so I'm now here with Hills and Sai of Elborn. Hello, guys.
Hey.
Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having
Lovely to
us.
have
Yeah.
you here. So, now tell me a bit about yourselves, first of all, before we speak about the band. Have you always wanted to be in a band and sing and play music?
Yeah, I mean, I've done music. I started learning the piano when I was 6, so
Oh, right. Okay.
not that high. Yeah, so I've kind of grown up doing music, and then writing came a bit later. But I've been playing sort of in a band for the last few years. So.
Yeah,
How
she
about
got
you,
started
Sai?
a lot earlier than I did. You know.
When did you start then?
Well, I didn't. I started the minute I was born, you know, straight away. And then, but I didn't really notice until I was sort of 13. It took like 12 years of humming and kind of making random noises before I realised, you know, I was doing some kind of melody or something like that, you know. And yeah, and it was kind of progressed through kind of lack of options, you know, lack of other options.
Do you think it was lack of other options? Do you think because you were so focused on that it's kind of like what you put your most effort into?
Yeah, no, I definitely am. You know, I think, well, you're more talented at other things, right? But I'm leaving everything on the table. Like, this is the only thing I'm good at, and this is, you know, that's why I work so hard at it, and that's why we kind of come together and create the sound we do. You know, because we're committing everything to the songs and performances. You know.
How did the two of you meet?
I just saw that he was looking for a keyboard player, and at the time I was a solo artist. I was trying out some of my own songs and things, but I've always loved playing keys and singing, and so I just kind of went along, and that was that really.
I was basically, when I came to London, I sort of put out ads, you know, in newspapers and newsagents, and you know those little tiny things, you know, piano lessons where you tell for a number, that type of thing. Well, it was like that next to the Lonely Hearts section, and I put one in both actually. And, I'm still not sure which one she applied for, but
what stood out for you about her?
Well, straight away, I mean, you know, she got the job straight away. You know, I was just glad she could play, to be honest. I was like, I really hope she can play, because otherwise I've really got some kind of issue, you know. But no, like, I needed, like, my songs I kind of created needed something to balance them out. Like, they were so full on, like, that they could almost be abrasive, you know. And it needed a balance, and it never really truly made sense until we started playing together, and until Hills brought her music to mine as well.
And it just clicked, it just worked.
It just clicked, you know.
Now, what about the name of the band? Because that's quite unusual, Elborn. What does it mean? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it's actually a tiny little district in Barcelona, which we loved, and we've been a few times, and we kind of discovered it. And even in Elborn, you don't really know you're in Elborn. But it's kind of the colours, the sort of... It was a weird thing, but we started working with an artist from America called Michelle Keck, and she does all this abstract painting. And it's the colour that we found this artwork, and we really wanted to use it for our album cover, and she was like, amazing, definitely. And then when we were in Elborn, we were like, wow, this really reminds us of the same thing, and it just kind of came that.
And you're both in agreement with that, right?
Yeah. Well, we needed a backdrop to the idea of what we had, the music we had. Like, we didn't really have a backdrop before. We had all these kind of random, strange names and Elborn is a kind of odd name, to be honest, but it kind of it does.
It's unusual though. It's nice. Touch, isn't it?
Well, we wanted something that was slightly that could almost act as a kind of barrier between, you know, us and what we did. It gave us a blank canvas to do it, and it came along at a time when we really needed something, and we were in Elborn, and it was like, why not call it Elborn, you know? And
how would you describe your music then, in your songs?
Right, okay, I'll do this one. It's the worst question in the world, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, this is it.
That wasn't on the script, was it?
Don't worry, no, everyone asks that question.
Pretend I didn't ask it.
It's just the hardest question because, you know, it's like, I don't know, it's honest, it's raw, and it's important, I think, you know. I think I spent a lot of years making music where I feel like it was irrelevant or wasn't needed or whatever, and I didn't see the point, it wasn't necessary. And I wanted to make something that actually meant something to people, that actually would inspire them and make you feel like you could do it. You could be a massive band, you could make a living out of doing this, you know. So I had to be honest to the songs, you know, and the less I thought about it, you know, even performing, the less I think about what I'm doing, the more honest it is, the more I'm, you know, giving something away. every time we perform it. And
What's
you
been
are
your
too.
inspiration and sort of help along the way as well? Is there anything that stood out
here we
for
go.
you?
Inspiration, gosh, that's a hard one. Well, I've always done music. I've always believed that that's what I should do. I don't know, I just have that inner thing. I tried to give it up a few times because it's not that easy. But I always come back to it. Yeah, it's part of me, I guess.
That's easy to see.
Well, I don't know what you mean. It's all about...
But it is really important to actually love what you do, because that is what's going to keep you going at the end of the day, isn't it? You don't give up on something that you really love.
Yeah, I think so. I think being in a band in this day and age, like, it's not the same as it was even like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's just as it's just as difficult as any job. Like, you know, just because it's singing or writing, you're basically creating something out of nothing. Therefore, that has to be something that's going to get people going, you know, and stir emotions. And it's kind of like playing the lottery for a living, really. But I think escapism is what probably got us both into music. You know, we didn't want to do all the other stuff. You know, no offence, we didn't really want to write out CVs and stuff. You know. I had nothing to write on.
It's not for everyone, is it?
Yeah, well, it is for everyone. It is for everyone, but you need something to write on it, and I didn't have anything to write on it, you know, other than my name, you know, in big letters.
Oh, bless. What about your future plans? Where are you heading? Would you say?
Well, we've made an album, so that's ready to go, and we've got another single that's coming out quite soon in the summer. So we're going to be on tour for the next few months, basically playing all over the UK.
Yeah, we were kind of setting up for a new campaign, new single, new tour, all that sort of stuff, because it's just like a revolving circle all the time, and trying to find any help. And Richard Anderson helped us a lot, More Mobile UK. They really helped us to actually sort of put some kind of stamp of authenticity on the actual tour and on what we're doing, because other than that, it's just our own label name, you know. It's kind of like, you know, writing your name in your back of your jeans. It's kind of, you know, the equivalent to that.
And finally, before we go, do you have any advice for young budding artists that maybe are thinking of getting into this industry, and what advice would you give to them?
Keep going. It's not easy, but if you are good and you practice and you write and you believe in it yourself, you can do anything, and don't let anyone stop you, because especially now you can record yourself, you can record even on your phone, you can set it up and do a video of you playing and writing, and it's right there, and then you can put it out, and you can do so much yourself. You don't have to be signed to major labels and wait for all that to happen. You can just do it. So you do. It helps.
I think it's a start, isn't it? At least.
You know,
this is it. You just got to keep going, and like I always say, ironically, just ignore advice. You know, you've got to be single-minded and just keep going.
Just keep going.
And stop trying to take shortcuts.
A good kind of stubborn.
Stubborn. Just don't go for the shortcuts. Don't go for the. I can make it in a year if I do this thing. You know, it might take 10 years, it might take 5 years. It's not really about the distance of time you put in. It's about the art you're creating, the work you create, and how real it is and good it is.
Brilliant. It's lovely talking to both of you, and all the best with everything that you're going to be doing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so that's it for today's show. So I do hope you found it useful and also very interesting. So if you want any more information about our guest this evening, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv, or you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv. It's been lovely being here with you again, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Hi, Chris. Hi. Hiya. Welcome to Pelham Help Centre.
Thank you.
The home of the new help centre.
So I've come down to Peckham today to check out an ongoing project, which is a youth centre in this building called the youth. Sorry.
It's going to be our new youth group. It's under construction.
Centre.
Sorry.